Today we are going to see one more example of coding with procedures. So if you haven't seen the last lectures about procedures, there I have discussed two very basic examples also about arrays and simple variables. So you need to see that first, otherwise you cannot get any of this video because I am not going to explain the very basics of procedures. Okay, so you have to see this first. I have explained everything in detail there. Okay, so here we are saying that we have to print the maximum and minimum number out of an unsorted array. Unsorted means that it doesn't have to be in only ascending or descending order, but we must have some random numbers in the array. Like here you can see I have this greater number, then less, then greater. This is a sort of unsorted array. Okay, and then this is, you can say by mistake remove it out. Okay, so I am displaying two strings, that is first is maximum, other is minimum. This is just to display on the screen that which number is maximum. I will display that number and then I will write it as maximum along with it. Then I will display the minimum number and I will display this string with it, that this is the minimum number. And I hope you already are familiar with displaying these two strings because we have discussed this I guess in last 20 videos, so you must know this. And then we have some ARR length, which is, we get the length of any array by using the size of variable. We have discussed this also. So here we are using two prototypes for our, you can say, declarations for our arrays. We have these name of the array, then their data type, that is PTR, because we are going to get the address, and we have discussed these two things in the very last video. Okay, so I am passing the address of my this array, which means the base address of my this array, and the name of the array, and by this I am calling my procedure, minimum procedure. You can see I am writing two procedures, one for minimum value and one for the maximum value. I am just going to explain the minimum number scenario. You can write the code for the maximum yourself, or I will show you the code here, but I'm just going to explain the minimum because this is very simple. Right now you must be okay with the procedures. So here we are just displaying, after invoking the minimum function, we will get to know our minimum value, right? So we will just display minimum and then that minimum value on the screen. So by this very function, this is the function call, we are going to write this code now to the minimum function. So this is you can say the call for my maximum. You can write the code for the maximum yourself, you can see from here, and I'm going to write the minimum. So here this is my start of the minimum, that is my procedure starts from here. We are getting the base address in our AR. So we know that we need the base address in our ESI. Only ESI is used for this purpose, so we are moving that base address of our array in ESI. And we know that I have 3 elements in the array, so I'm moving 3 in E6 because I want my loop to work 3 times, so I want to access till the very last element. So I have to move 3 in E6 because this E6 is my looping index. Inside my loop we have to compare that, we have to specify some conditional statement that where I have to stop my loop. So as soon as E6 becomes 0, we have to come out of this loop, which means that we have to come to L3, and L3 will return back to the main procedure. So inside my loop, what I am doing, how I am going to check that which number is greater or which number is not. Here you can see I have discussed this already, that this is how you can access the array element, because ESI basically contains the here you can see ESI is containing the base address, that is the address of my first element. So in order to access the element at that particular address, we have to use this statement as it is. You have to remember this. Okay, type and then PTR. Why PTR? Because this was containing what? Address, and now I want value at that with the square brackets. So this is how you're going to write it, and I'm moving that in EAX, and this movement means that value, that is my first values, I guess you can see from here it is 40, right? So my 40 is getting stored in EAX, and then I am adding ESI with 4. Why I am adding ESI 4 and ESI? Because I know that this is my D word data type, and we know that this D word takes, each number takes 4 bytes to store in this type, right? So that's why in order to access my next element, now I have to move my index to 4 positions far, right? So this is accessing the next element, and then I'm decrementing my E6 myself. You know that E6 almost auto decrements. I mean, it decrements itself, but I'm also doing it myself where it's okay. So here, after moving my first element in EX, what I'm doing, I am, you can say that I have ESI is now pointing to the next element, right? So now I'm accessing the element of my, you can say, the second address, which means now this is containing my second element value. Why? Because here this movement was before adding, which means this was moving my first element in EX, and now after adding, this is pointing to my next element, right? So I'm moving that next element, or I'm comparing that next element with my first element. EX was containing my first element, so I'm comparing my first element with second element. And if my first element is greater than my next element, jump if greater. It means that if my destination is greater than my source, then I have to continue my loop, which means I again move inside this label, right? And why I'm using this, you have to take care of this thing, that you have to write jump if greater. Why greater? Because we know that this is my unsorted array. In unsorted array, my first element must be you can say greater than my second. If it is less, then you have a greater element, it means your array is sorted, right? While we want an unsorted array. So that's why I already know that this my next first number is going to be greater than my second number. So if it is greater than my second number, it means that I am not going to get my minimum value out of this. This is not going to be my minimum value in any way, right? So this is what I am doing over here. I am comparing my first value with second, but now I know that this is my unsorted array. My first value will be definitely greater, right? So it is greater. So I'm again going inside the loop. I'm moving the, you can say I'm checking that second value goes in EX now, and this is now pointing to the third element. Now I'm comparing my third element with my second element, right? And if my, you can say, if my this EX, if my second element is greater than my third element, if my second element is greater than my third element, you can see over here my second number is not greater than my third element, right? It is not greater. So what will happen? This condition becomes false. It is not greater. Second element is not greater, which means it will come out of the loop, and we will simply return. And return what? It will return us 100. Because the latest EX value contains 100, it will return as 100, which it will return as 30. Why? Because it is the minimum value. You want the minimum value, right? So and you must know that why I wrote that condition as jump greater, because my first value is definitely going to be greater, and if it is satisfied, which should satisfy, then I have to compare my second value with this value. If my this value gets greater than this one, then I have to, you can say, traverse the array again. But here you can see my second value gets less than this one, so it means my this is the only minimum value which we will display on the screen. So here this return means that we are coming out of this minimum procedure. This minimum procedure has ended, so we are returning to our, you can say, minimum procedure. So, and now we are coming back to toward here. It will display minimum on the screen, and then this call write int will contain the most minimum value. Why? Because we were returning that value, right? So that returned value gets stored in EX, and then you can say that whatever lies in EX is displayed by call write int. So that's all for our minimum procedure. You can see the maximum yourself. This is nothing so new. The only difference will be in the condition, this condition. Why this? Because here we know we want the maximum value, right? So here we have to write the you can say we have to check for the you can say less value, right? Because in our minimum we were using greater, we know the concept why we were using greater, so here you can see why we are using less, right? So that's it for today. I hope you have gotten it, and you must see the previous lecture if you are not understanding it well. So I'm coming with some more examples like this as well. So that's it for today. Thank you.